Hello, ghost hunters! Let's take a look at how fingerprints, footprints, and UV have changed. Fingerprints and footprints have had quite the change with the Ascension update. Most notably, they've been renamed to Ultraviolet. This change means that if you get fingerprints or glowy footprints, your ghost will have this new ultraviolet evidence. How we get fingerprints with the UV light hasn't changed all that much, so let's check out each tier of the UV light first. The Tier 1 UV light is the Glowstick. You may remember these from before the update, but they're now much improved. The old Glowsticks grew dim over time and were much harder to spot evidence once this had happened. The new UV Glowsticks have 60 seconds duration before they dim. However, when they do, players can then pick them up and shake them to rejuvenate them, making this item one of my favorite Tier 1 tools. It provides area light, which is great in instances where flashlights may be broken or the lights in the location no longer work. With the changes to ultraviolet evidence, prints of any kind must now be charged up with a UV light so they can then be photographed. Using the Glowstick will require 10 seconds of UV charge time. In the case of footprints, players can simply drop the UV light next to the print if they are attempting to snap a photo. And the best thing about the Glowstick? It is not electronic, so players can hold this item during a hunt. The Tier 2 UV light is the same light we had prior to the Ascension update. This item has a narrow beam but makes it easier to spot ultraviolet evidence when further away. It also charges prints faster with a charge time of just 5 seconds. It isn't electronic though, so it should not be held during a hunt or left on when not in use. It's also worth noting that this item will not work in instances where flashlights are disabled. The Tier 3 UV light is a much wider UV light than the previous tiers. It is so wide and bright that in some cases, players may opt to use this as a flashlight if they have limited inventory space. It charges prints even faster than the other lights in just 1.5 seconds. It isn't electronic though and should be turned off when not in use and should not be held during hunts. As with the Tier 2 UV light, it will not work in instances where flashlights are disabled. Also, this item is easily dropped on its end to provide light that points up at switches or doors. Ultraviolet evidence in the form of handprints or fingerprints has a unique appearance with just one ghost type, the Obake. This ghost has a chance to leave a 6-fingered handprint or a double fingerprint on light switches. It also has a 5-finger print when interacting with keyboards or prison doors, unlike other ghosts which leave just 4 fingers. Also, this ghost has a chance to reduce the amount of time those prints remain visible. Fingerprints and handprints can be found on most doors, light switches, windows, keyboards, coolers, most breaker boxes, and in some cases, mirrors. Although I believe those mirrors only exist in the bathrooms of Brownstone High School. Additionally, prints can be found in unique spots on the cell doors in the prison. The campsites also have a few unique spots such as the lanterns, on tent flaps, or above doorways for the pup tents, picnic tabletops, and the poles for the string lights. Fingerprints last for a total of 2 minutes, unless of course your ghost type is an Obake. It is considerably less if you are playing on Insanity mode or the time for these prints to fade is changed on a custom difficulty. As for footprints, to gather this as ultraviolet evidence, the ghost must first step in the salt and then proceed to step outside the salt area. It is possible for ghosts to step in salt but then stop moving altogether, thus not leaving a footprint. It is best to double check each time the ghost steps in the salt to be certain that the ghost does or does not have ultraviolet evidence. These glowy footsteps will last only 10 to 15 seconds, so players must be quick to catch them. As a note of interest, the child ghost does leave a slightly smaller footprint than all other ghosts. All 3 UV lights are great in my opinion. In most cases, I would choose the Glowstick over the handheld UV lights simply because of its area light and because it's not electronic. It provides efficient area light and can be refreshed when it begins to dim. However, the Tier 3 UV light is quite bright and can double as a flashlight if needed. Because of its wide, bright beam, I would choose this item over the Tier 2, although all 3 UV lights are useful. Therefore, I wouldn't deem any of these items worth replacing. Depending on your map and your playstyle, choose the UV light that you think best fits your needs. What do you think of the changes to the fingerprints, footprints, and the UV? Do you like these changes? Have you found benefits I failed to mention here? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and as always, happy hunting!